So good morning. I'm at one of my favorite places to go fishing today, and right now, as you can see back there, there is not enough water, and you probably hear the wind right now because I don't have my mic on because it's underneath all my stuff here at my boat. My goal right now is to show you the process that I go through to get my boat off. I've had a couple of people ask about this, and there's a lot to it. So once I get it rolling, it's awesome, but it takes a little while. And right now, nobody's here where I'm at. And I'm at the spot where I am ready to put my boat in. I got time with the water not being here yet, so I thought I would walk through that. So obviously I'll speed it up in the video, and eventually the wind noise that you currently hear will be gone too, but this will kind of show you my process. Hey, thanks for being here. Welcome to Fisher of Men. Hopefully today, gonna go catch them. Been a week and a half since I've been out here, and looking forward to setting up my new Kaku Guru that I fished on 3 or 4 times now, and looking forward to again today. So here's where you can see how I have my boat set up in the back of my truck. Some people ask about that. I do not have a trailer. I recently purchased a new, what's called a T-bone, and I had one that I bought from Harbor Freight that goes straight out, but the T-bone, as you can see here, it's got a flex to it, and what's good about that is when I go someplace where everything dips down, the T-bone doesn't scrape, so that's good. I've also taken some carpet and taken the carpet and turned around backwards. This is the carpet part in here, but turn it around backwards and put some duct tape on it, that it's not just metal that my boat is rolling up on, but it's actually this rubberized plastic stuff, and this kind of rolls with it. And then I strap it down with this cam strap, which is very different than a ratchet strap. The ratchet strap could pull and damage my boat as it pulls so tight. The cam strap will pull tight enough that my boat is locked down good and has teeth in it and protects it and such, because it doesn't go as tight. And then all I do to loosen it up is this number right here, and I wrap it around, and same thing the other side. And of course I do the same thing right here, and I just take these, take the cam strap and attach it inside my truck and tighten it down real good. It's not going anywhere. And I usually bring these down to where it covers right here my boat, and it just helps it be a little bit more aerodynamic. And then of course you can see that I'm about to pull my boat off. The boat weighs about 130 pounds or so. And, it's pretty simple. Pull that off. I try to get it on this carpet thing, roller deal that I've got, so it kind of protects it. And I set it down just like that. And I'm gonna go into the back of the truck. We've got a Honda Ridge line right here. This piece picks up, and it's fantastic. It picks up this kind of more stuff in it, so I'll show you that. Here you can see the shape of my Kaku Guru, and it's made to take waves right here, as you can see, and takes them pretty good. And towards the back it becomes much more flat and makes it very stable. And of course right here is where my ridge line picks up the back trunk, if you will, and I can put some stuff here. Now I've got a new system that I'm going to put my Kaku Guru on and try that today, using a different wheel system that's going to be much easier to get this thing in and out of where I need it to be. So as you can see right here, this is the mic system I've been using the last couple of 3 months. It's a great little mic. It's a DJI mic and does a great job. And I have a dead cat on it. It's not a real dead cat, but it allows you to, take out a lot of the wind. So even right now, you're probably not hearing the wind like you did before. And typically what I do is I just take this thing and I put it inside of my shirt. That takes a little bit, more wind away. And it's got this magnetic piece that straps on. So this stays inside of my shirt. That way also too, if somehow I bump it, it's going to go down in my shirt and probably on me as opposed to out into the water. So maybe people haven't thought about that, but I have, because I've dropped stuff in the water before. This is where it's going to get interesting, because I haven't pulled this thing off yet, but I do know the best place for this to sit is right here where my seat's at. So I'm going to try to pull the boat onto it and put it on like that. You can see right here how it's kind of jackknifed, but It's sitting on there good, and it's got a place to attach a line. If I need to attach it, I can attach it and then run it up to the seat and tighten it down real good if I need to do that. What I'm doing here is I'm just lining it up so that then I can kind of back it out. That's my plan. See if it works. Oh yeah, that is awesome. Yes, sir. That works right there. That works right there. Now I'm able to bring that thing close so you can see how it's going to work. And then I will attach all my stuff to it and probably attach a strap. Just make sure that's kind of where it needs to be. Yeah, it's pretty even. So that's going to work. But this thing is going to be a good tool. I could even feel in pushing it back there that was usually pushed back. So I'll be able to take it into the canal, into the water instead of my truck every time. Because taking your truck into salt water, not a good thing. So that's the plan. Here's boondock setup. And usually right here, I carry a lot of things that go on my boat. And I just put them right inside of my net. My net is a rubberized net, awesome net. And it is made by Kayak, and it doesn't hurt the fish and all that. It's awesome. Some of you have asked about how this works. These things are fantastic. They're from Kayak as well. And all these units right here, these pieces can be plugged in all kind of configurations from my cameras to this. And so I just put these on real quick, and this way I don't lose them when I'm transporting, but I can lock these down. And of course, this is where my rods are going to go, right through here. And then this piece is where I have my fourth rod. This is typically the rod that I'm fishing with, and the rod that when I pull a fish out of the water, and I stick the rod somewhere, this is where it goes. And then all I do here is, these are a good tool from Cast King. It's all tied in and incorporated. And all I do is I take this, and it's got a piece that usually goes on a belt clip, but I just lock it down right here. And I'll show that to you. I can pick it up real quick. I take it right here, and I just lock it down on this side of this rod. It doesn't get in the way of a rod when rod's in it, but it keeps that held to it, and I don't lose my pliers. And then again, that goes in here, and it just locks down like that. This piece right here locks down the same way, and then I just use that to hold my net, and it keeps my net out of the way. But when I'm fishing here, I can grab that thing real fast and try to get to the fish. And of course, here are my rods, and so they just lay inside of these orange pieces, and then they're clipped down. I'll pull it and show it to you how this works in one of the last ones, but they just lay down in here, and then I'm able to clip each one of those to where it protects and it holds my rod from moving. Before I had a version where it didn't hold the rod from moving, and because of that, when I was coming out of this canal area that you see behind me right back here, a couple of them fell out. Thankfully, they weren't my most expensive rods, and my rods got stuck in the sand and broke both my rods. So this is where the one that I'm using primarily is going to go. And again, here's how this works. This is once I put the rod in here, see how it slid easily. But once you put this in here, they've just got a system set up with some bands, and it's a good setup because once I lay it down, notice how those bands grab on and it's not going anywhere. Now they've got that on both sides, so I could use that on both sides, and these can shift all the way out or all the way in, but I've got them shifted all the way out so that I have maximum area that I can have on my boat, and all this stuff, my rods and such are not where I'm trying to fish. That's a lot of good area right there on my Kaku Guru. I really, really appreciate that. And of course, this is my new Kaku Guru, and I'm getting ready to set it up with a couple more things that you'll see. So while I'm transporting this, I've got my anchor pole that I set right down in here because it doesn't come out, it doesn't hit anything, but it's out of the way. I don't have to try to put it in my boat. And this whole anchor pole right here, I've just got tied here, and then the anchor pole comes out usually pretty easily. Normally I pull this thing out first, and that's the mistake I made because other stuff is kind of in the way. But there's the anchor pole, and that anchor pole made by Yak Gadget is going to go right in this piece right here, so I'll show you that. So I keep here in my tackle this little small thumb screwdriver, if you will, and I just use that because it's got this piece right here, and so I'm gonna loosen it up real good. And then what I'm gonna do is stick that pole, oh, you fell. So I'm gonna stick that pole, as you can see, right in here, and it's gonna come out the bottom. And then I'm gonna take that piece, I'm gonna tighten it up real good. And of course, after I tighten it, then I stick this to it. And then it is held on by this rope. You can see it goes all the way down here. And then the rope goes to this piece made by Yak Gadget. And when I pull this up, it's gonna release that rope when there's weight and such. And this will fall, at least when the rope's up, it will fall. You'll see it here. Right here, I'm gonna link another video that I did recently that shows a couple of changes I've made here so that this works even better, so you can click on that and check it. So here's what it looks like in my truck. Here's my motor. Typically, I have this piece, which is a separate battery, the battery that comes with the e-propulsion motor. And right now I've got it all in one piece. Normally I have it in two. I'm gonna try to pull it out together, and then I will mount it on the back, and you'll get to see me do that, how that works. So this thing tightens down. Right here, these are cool because they just move different directions as you need them. And it tightens down really, really good. Very pleased with this motor, e-propulsion 3 horsepower motor. And then I got to plug the power in, and it's made really well. You can see it's got the prongs that go in, and then it locks in real, real good. This piece is all locked in. And then it is time to do this next part. This is a gadget that I set up. I'll show you. So this whole piece obviously turns around like this, and then this piece comes out, and there you go, set up, ready to roll. However, I've had an issue because in order to pull this motor up, I've got to lift this lever. When I lift this lever, it allows the motor to shift up like that, as you see. Problem is when I want to pull this motor up, and I'm sitting here, unless I try to move to the back, which is a real pain, then I had to have a way to pull this lever, and it's hard to get to. So all I did was I've taken a zip tie, and I've tied it to a piece of paracord, and then that piece of paracord, in the past, what I did in the last couple outings, I ran that here. And you'll notice that when I pull up, you can see, there you go, and that allows me to pull the whole motor up. I need something to help me a little further though, and that is, there are times that you can see that my motor runs obviously below the boat like it's supposed to, but when I get in really shallow water, I'm gonna need it to do some more work for me. So I know that if I pull this up some, that I could run in shallower water like this. The problem is there's only 2 options, and that is it being held at the bottom or being at the very top is where it clicks in. So I came up with something. It worked at my garage. We'll see if it works today, how long it works. But I've got one of these Velcro strips right here, and I'm gonna run this cord inside of this Velcro strip. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is because I want this motor, when I pull it up and try to run it, I don't want it twisting to the left. And if this stays on the left, then the whole motor will twist to the left. But as you're about to see, I've set something up to where it's running right here that kind of helps pull on the motor and the battery. And then it's gonna run right here. And normally I'll just have it clicked into these teeth. Again, I just set these up with some phone ties, some zip ties right here, and that'll normally hold with these teeth. I've used this before in different capacities. However, this is what's gonna be good. I'm gonna try it. I'll see if I can set this down and not drop you. When I pull this, it's gonna pull that lever, which you're gonna see pull right back there. There it goes. And then when I pull the whole thing, the goal will be that this will come up, and I can pull it to as much as I want it to come up. As you can see, it's coming up a little bit back there. And then my goal is to be able to lock it in these teeth, and you can see it's locked down pretty good. So I've got this extension pole that I use on the regular, and when I've got the motor pulled up some, this hopefully is gonna allow me to run my motor as it's pulled up some. Now I'm not gonna be able to twist hard right or left, at least hard right because of this line right now, but what I am gonna be able to do is keep that motor up so I could run in a little bit shallower water for a little bit. Then when it's time to get back to normal, I can just pull this and you'll watch the motor go down now, and it'll just drop back down, and then I can release this piece and kind of have it hanging and go back to my normal setup. So I'm excited about that. I'm learning stuff and trying to figure things out. that's my setup so far. I'll show you where I put my cameras here in just a second. Now, all my cameras, I run off a battery, and I forget the amount of amps or whatever this thing holds, but basically it'll run most of the day for me. And I run that thing, I think these cost somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 bucks, and I plug it directly into the side. Now that does mean that this thing is not fully waterproof if it were to go in the water, so obviously I try to keep it out. These Yak Attack sticks though, this particular one is really, really good. So it plugs in like all my other things do with these Yak Attack pieces on the bottom, which are fantastic, and those teeth plug in, and that thing sits in there, and I lock it in. Again, if I want to move it, I can just press this, and the whole piece, as I press it, will not allow it to come out, but it'll allow it to move and shift. And then when you stick it back in, it locks in place. And so there you got the idea of where you see my back camera, and my back camera sits there to take all the stuff right here. And my front camera, of course, goes on right here, and DJI makes these pieces, and they're magnetic. Listen to it. Here to attach, right there. And so it's magnetic, it's sort of holding, but then it's got clips in it, and that's fantastic that DJI makes. And so that clips in. This piece here is made by Yak Attack, and I make it function together. And then of course I plug that thing in the USB, plug that thing into USB-C as well. And then this battery, well, that thing's about on its last leg. I'm gonna have to fix that. But that's how it holds on. And so I just line this thing up. I've got to make sure it's going to line up right, and I can pick it up and move it, and that's going to be about right. And so when you see me from this angle, that's the camera you're seeing right there. The water slowly making its way in. When I got here, that oyster bar right there had no water at it. The water's making its way in, so it's coming. Once it gets close to the front of that canal, I'll be able to take this whole thing out, I hope, with my new wheels. These wheels, you can air them up, and hopefully it's not gonna sink. Hopefully we're gonna be good. It should be good. Obviously, I will need to do this before I forget. I went ahead and picked my motor up so I won't be running it in the sand. And then I've just, got some parts that will hold that handle when I want it to be held, because everybody likes to be held closely. So there you go. Also right over here, this Onyx M16 belt pack is what I wear. You have to pull it in order for it to bust out and become inflatable, but it is so much better than just having the typical PFD that I would wear, because that thing, it gets hot and such. And also on here, I attach a couple of things. I attach something to hold my phone on right here, so my phone won't get lost, and I can shoot that to you, a link to that if you're interested. Also, I have a battery that works with that, and then the battery has a longer line on it, and this line, I put it up my back, up my shirt usually, and that goes right here into my hat like this, and basically comes around to the front. And this is where my head mount unit, it's sometimes hurts my head a little bit, but it's the best view typically, and it will plug into my camera, which is the one I'm holding right now, which will go right there on my head. Also, this is fantastic. This is a DJI remote, and so what will happen is this remote, when I turn it on, it will hook up with all three of my cameras. The camera that I'm holding, this camera right here, and that camera right there. And when I click this button right here, it will start recording on all those cameras. How cool is that? And it will stop recording on all those cameras. So rather than me trying to reach to each camera to get them, it will actually, that remote works for all three of these cameras. So what a cool tool that is. I'm grateful for that. Last but not least, I carry this waterproof thing, probably made in China. I have no clue how to pronounce that. And I usually tie it somewhere to my seat in case my kayak were to tip over. Thankfully, that's not happened to me. And this is where my battery stuff is for my microphone. These are extra batteries for my DJI cameras. These are a couple extra batteries I use in case I run out of battery. And so that's the plan. Normally, I use these to help me pull my boat out when there's just a little bit of water. So I'll probably use one of those, and it'll be the plan. And so once I get out to a little bit of water, I'll be able to take that and pull my boat. That's the plan. So that's my setup. And I've shown you inside of this thing before, but this is where my my boxes go. I can pull these, and if it's not caught on the chair there, it will pull my boxes out for my lures. Got a couple over here, and then got a bigger box over there. They all clamp in. That's made by Yak Gadget. It's fantastic. All these things, by the way, all these links of these things are in the description of my videos. So you can always look down in these videos and find these things in the description. And then, you know, I've got some other stuff set up and other lure boxes and such. And that's the deal. So Kaku Guru getting ready to roll. So finally, if all goes well, I ought to be able to tote this whole mug down there. So you're talking, this is 42 pounds, 130 pounds. There's probably, you know, close to 200 pounds. Whole thing can hold 600 pounds, which includes me, just under 200. And we'll see how it works. Right now, I don't have it locked in. I think it'll be okay because of the weight, but get a concept of how it rolls. Oh yeah, look at that, baby. Yes, sir. As I make my way to this canal right there. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. If you get a chance, please subscribe and like. Thanks so much. Blessings to you.